welcome to YouTube Live.
You need a booster seat. Like you get in, where'd you get those booster seats?
The cinema.
Oh, in the cinema. Just finished my drink a minute.
I'll slap her later.
Oh, we've been and we got Peggy a booster seat.
I'll still slap her later.
So, topic for tonight.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just getting the chat box ready.
Topic for tonight is two things. First of all, I should be ready, but I'm not because we've only just had our dinner.
I made a veggie spag bowl.
Because Peggy is big into walking. Big into walking, yeah.
I am. Don't say that word because I haven't taken
Oh,
someone.
sorry, yeah. We watch a channel on YouTube called Cool Dudes, Word I Can't Say Club.
Walking club.
And he's a comedian called Marek Larwood.
And we are now members of that Cool Dudes Walking Club.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully you can see us all right. Otherwise I'll put that light on if you can't. I think you can see us all right.
Yeah, it's fine.
So well done to everyone.
Looks fine on mine.
So the reason why I bring his channel up,
Come on, people. There's 5 people watching. Say hello.
it says 9 on mine. So the reason why I bring his channel up is he invented these cards. Now they're for kids.
Hey, days gone by. Hey, Froggy.
Can you see that?
Pooh
Man cards. Now that's from the comedian Marek Larwood. And I gave a set to my little nephew. They're really, really funny. Now I can't open this set.
Yeah. Hi, Justin.
Right, yeah, go on then, open it. How can I fix cards if I can't open a pack of cards? That's the one thing Peggy's dad taught you, that you can open a pack of cards. Right, so we're gonna shuffle these up like it's a brand new pack anyway. Right, Peggy's watching the chat. Now for everyone who comments,
Right, in that case you got 4 so far.
yeah, we're gonna line them up over there.
5. Hi, Rita.
Right, so for everyone who comments, we're gonna allocate you
A Pooh Man card.
a Pooh Man card for tonight. So that's your character. Oh, it's doing that reconnecting thing. If you hear clattering in the back, the dog's eating off a plate. So who was the first person to comment?
Days gone by.
Days gone by, you're going to be allocated a card.
Oh, hello, Ro.
Can't be that one because that's the instruction card.
Hi, Ro. And Simon says he'll be back in a minute.
Another instruction card. Oh dear. 3 instruction cards.
You sure there's 3 instruction cards?
Here we go.
There we go.
So,
days gone by.
days gone by,
Hi, Distillator.
you have got Basil Browner. Let me try and focus that.
Hello, Ian Rowe.
Yep, you've got Basil Browner.
Have a look.
Does it give you stats on the back? It doesn't,
No.
does it? No.
You got 2 stars.
So who else we got?
So Froggy Went Wandering was the next person. Sorry.
Froggy Went a Wandering. You've got Squat the dog. Oh dear. So
Justin Denton's next.
like I say, if I give you a card, then you can ask a question. Anything you want. Once you're allocated a card, you can ask a question. Who else we got?
Justin Denton.
Justin Denton.
Hi, Canal.
Lovely to see you.
Hi, Canal.
Probably run out of cards. So Justin
Denton.
Denton
Hi, 3 Musketeers.
has got Bernie Bottom.
For those who's joined, anyone that comments is going to be allocated a Pooh Man card.
These are from Marek Larwood, the comedian. So I say, anyone who...
Hey, Steve and Julia.
They're called Pooh Man cards. They're really, really funny. I gave a set to my nephew. They're really funny. And we just thought we'd have a little twist tonight. Anyone who comments, you get nominated a card. And then you're allowed to ask a question.
Okay.
Anything you want.
Simon's next.
Simon from Wales.
Yep. Sorry.
So for Simon in Wales, you've got Dave.
We had veggie Speg bowl.
No, you can't ask a question unless you've been
I
allocated.
don't care. We were eating, so it's just, they've asked, and I've said what we had.
Well, they've asked to answer the questions. You've done it around the wrong way.
I
So
don't care.
I'll give you a card. Oh, that's a blooming instruction card again.
Right, so who have we just done, Simon? So you got Rita Newell. Rita Newell? This is should be next. Uriah Niles. How did you not get that?
I didn't get this straight away. Right. So for you, Uriah Niles.
Urinals.
Urinals. Uriah Niles is your card. Lovely.
So is that for Rita?
Yeah.
So that was for you, Rita. Ian Rowe.
Ian Rowe. Ian Rowe. Right, from the Ian Rowe on your radio. Right, Ian Rowe on your radio.
Ian Rowe on your radio.
You lost a
yes, you lost that dart game.
A dart game because she fiddled you.
She did. I'm sorry.
You were down.
Nicola fiddled you. You had
250 points.
Then you answered the question correctly.
Got 60.
And then got 60.
She never did it.
She never took that off. So unfortunately, I think she should have been disqualified, and you won that.
Yeah, you won.
I'm sorry.
But you can't watch it back.
I can. It was live.
I'll just move. Can you? Oh yeah. So if you watch it back, so I had to move a plate. It was by the fire. So who else we got? Oh, I haven't given Ian Rowe a card.
Yeah, give Ian.
Ian, your card. Philippa Plushington.
Okay. Next one. Desolator.
Desolator. Well done, Desolator. Like I say, if you've been nominated a card...
You have to say hi now. Yes, you do.
If you've been nominated a card, you are allowed to ask a question. Could be anything. Could be anything. We don't mind.
Oh, Simon, books fell on my head today. You only had my shelf to blame.
Only had his shelf to blame. It reminds me of that, what was his name called, the James Bond chap?
Come on.
Oh, what was the James Bond chap called?
Do Desolator, come on.
Right, Desolator, your card. Oh, that's a flipping instruction one again. I should have took the instruction ones out first. You've got the Pooh Man card! Hey! That's the winning card. You play it until you get the Pooh Man card. So Desolator, in essence, you won the card game. But that's your card for tonight.
David Burridge.
Oh, David Burridge. Like I say, once you got a card, you can ask a question. We haven't had any questions yet, have we? David's hiding.
But you just say, hey, girls.
He doesn't live in the van, honestly, because I know he was in the last live. Wow, David, you got a fabulous card. You got the best card I've ever seen. You got the power flush.
The next one, Canal.
Canal?
Canal.
As in...
Canal, as in Cornwall.
Oh, right. Canal, yeah. I thought you meant canal, like you
No,
walk.
not canal. Canal. Please don't put any more on the fire because it's boiling in here.
Well, I got a blank one, but that's for the blank ones. If you ever buy a pack of these cards, the blank ones are for the kids to invent their own.
Their own Pooh Man.
But yeah, obviously I'm going to take that one out because we're not inventing our own tonight. Wow, you got a good one as well. Ready? Smell the freshness. Doesn't really focus on it, but yeah, smell the freshness. Yeah, yes, it's really good.
Ian Mo says, yes, you can watch it back, and thank you for the Pooh Man cards.
So you got 9
we haven't
so
finished,
far.
We haven't finished. We've got the Three Musketeers van life.
Well done, guys. Well done. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Like I say, the Pooh Man cards are just a gimmick.
And then you got another one after that.
You get allocated one, and then you're allowed to ask any questions you want. So get the chat flowing.
We want questions. Please give us questions.
Oh, you got a really, really good one. So for the Three Musketeers, want a drum roll?
That wasn't a thing for you to jump up. Down.
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 Thank you.
Jack just jumped on all the cards. Let me just move my drink. So for the Three Musketeers, you've got the Poohsicle. Which is really fitting considering I saw your picture earlier on social media about all the snow you've been going through. So one of you's been outside. Hang on. If it does that flickering, we're really sorry. I mean, we can't be any closer to the mast.
It's only over the road.
Yeah.
So it's the last one for this evening so far until somebody else new joins. It's for Steve.
Oh, Thomas. Oh,
And
got a blank
Julia.
One. Hang on now. That was a blank. Oh, I'm getting all the blank ones. These are for the kids to draw their own.
I don't know. We could do a competition and ask them to draw their own.
Yeah, you could draw your own poo card, but we'll do that another time. That's an instruction one. Oh, you got a really good one, Peggy. I'll laugh at this.
Is it gold?
You got Pudini.
That's Stephen's driving, isn't it?
He's not allowed at the moment.
No, you're not.
Sorry.
That was your driving.
That was a slip of the tongue. So yeah, you got Pudini. Well done. That's
There
a
you
good
go.
selection of cards, isn't it?
So come on, people. We want questions now. You've
There's
now
no-
all got your Pooh Man cards.
You've all got your Pooh Man cards. Jack
Down.
wants to join in. Give us a call down. Come on, down you get. Down. Down. I know she's talking to someone. I know. Down. So yeah, right. So yeah, now you've got your Pooh Man cards allocated. You're entitled to ask any question you want.
Anything.
I'm going to start because we haven't had any questions yet, have we?
Only what we had for dinner, and I already answered that one.
Yeah, I ate the pasta and the cheese. So I'll just give you
Simon.
I'll just give you the update. The update is touch wood. No, don't do that. No. Oh, you had to do that, didn't you?
Jack, it was me.
It's Peggy. It's okay, it's Peggy. It's on guard duty now.
It was me. Look.
No, don't hurt the ears.
Look.
No, you're just driving mad now. Let her out.
There you go. Come on, go
She
out.
did that. She knows. Go on in. Go and find
Right, I
Foxy
would
and
tell you what Simon said, shall I? He has said, my dad said he's been having trouble sleeping. I said I've been doing that for that long. I can do it with my eyes closed. And I heard this song about a bra today. The lyrics were really uplifting.
They were, yeah.
Froggy, how are you all coping with the latest lockdown so far?
Brilliant question.
What lockdown?
Well,
We're both key workers.
yeah. Well, it's your 50-50 key worker.
I am a key worker. I work for the MOD, so I am actually a key worker. I've even got my fresh new letter to say that I can travel to and from work.
But you've been furloughed every
It's
week.
not for. Then the second week we are on call, so if somebody goes off sick, then we can go in.
And as for me, I work for a pharmacy. I've never ever seen a week like the week I've just had.
It's been really busy.
It was so busy, so tiring that I spent today in bed.
We watched 2 films.
And that's really rare for me. Really rare for me.
Yeah, we watched 2 films, so that was quite good.
Yeah. So I get the updates are, as for car wise, gas is going really well, but the weather's been so poo that we've left, hence the Pooh Man cars, that we've left them in the garage. And the Triumph, the 1300, we've had loads of work done on at the moment, and I'm hoping to get it back in the next couple of weeks. It's a long list of work, and which I'll do an update on when we get it back.
The Three Musketeers. Lockdown doesn't affect us really. We aren't very sociable anyway, lol.
Just makes shopping difficult, doesn't
It does, yeah.
It makes shopping. Me and Peggy like wandering around Sainsbury's together.
Which is why today's dinner, apart from the swede and carrot, everything was in packets or tins, or jars. So the actual soya mince I used was actually dried soya mince. So all you had to do was boil a kettle to rehydrate it before you cook it like a normal soya mince.
Yeah, so we ain't got to go shopping so often. We stock up on tins and bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being veggie hasn't been too bad either with it.
Works for you.
Yeah, it works really well.
All right. So
Come on, people, any questions?
So you got your questions. So while we're waiting for a question, I was having a conversation with a work colleague this week about memories of cars that we've had, and you may have heard this story from me before, but hopefully a lot of you haven't heard this story. Ford Escort.
We'll go driving up to Membry and then suddenly the whole lot dies. That was quite scary.
Crap cars, isn't it?
We had to wait something like 10-15 minutes before it would allow you to start it up again.
Me and Peggy had a Ford Cortina. You know the Cortina one?
Maybe.
Me and Becky had a full Cortina, and we lived in a block of flats.
Yeah.
And the car was parked on the parking bay at the green at the front, and over the road was a row of houses, and there was every single day, please, 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 can I buy your Cortina? Please, can I buy your Cortina? Well, after a little while, because it drank, the only reason was because it drank like a fish, and I didn't know about cars at the time. They were either worked or didn't. That's all I knew at the time, and this one drank like a fish. So in the end, I was offered a good little Metro, wasn't it? Do you remember that? We were offered a good little 5-door Metro, and we thought that would be more practical for us at the time. So I agreed to sell the Cortina to Dave on a Saturday. It was a bright orange Cortina, Mark V. Now, I sold it to him on a Saturday night. On the Sunday morning, we'd led there in the block of flats in our room.
And we can hear
really intensely loud. You know when you've ever done a walk or been in a barn or something and you disturb a hornet? It was like that. It was really, really proper loud, like a hornet's sound, wasn't it? I was like, what the hell is this sound? In the end, I couldn't put up with it. It just continued. It never stopped. In the end, I thought I'd get up and I'll go and look out the window to see what it is, because it's obviously coming from outside. And this was 7 o'clock
in the morning
on a Sunday morning. Yeah, Dave, who had only acquired it that night, had several extension leads trailing from his house, up his garden, one across the road over to the parking bay, and he had 2 tools, a drill and one of those electronic hacksaws. What's the name for them? You know what I mean?
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw, that's the word. Couldn't picture the word. And he had a jigsaw. And he was on his knees on the back of the roof, leaning forward, and he drilled a hole, and he was cutting with a jigsaw a big hole in the roof, putting a sunroof in. 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Yeah, the noise, as you can imagine, the whole roof shaking, the noise. He drove all the neighbours mad. What, I'm allowed to say it, I suppose, on YouTube, what pissed me off is he sold that car. It was a bloody good car. He sold that car 5 weeks later. I mean, what the hell? It didn't even have a sunroof when I sold it to him. It was as dry as a bone.
Right, 3 Musketeers said, my dad had a Bond Equip many years ago. Sporty 4-seater. Not many people have heard of them.
No. Bond made some wonderful cars, and I don't know if I'm right, but I think all of the Bonds had a fiberglass chassis. They were a bit like, obviously, the Reliant and the Scimitar all used fiberglass. All the Bond vehicles were fiberglass as well. But yeah, Bond Equip, really, really good car. Fantastic. You can have a Puma card for that.
Oh, you're going to get a bonus. Maybe not.
So your bonus card, Bertox, or as in buttocks, Bertox.
They've said yes, it was fiberglass.
Yeah, it would never rot out. It's a shame there aren't many of them more around, because various different things over the year. They had big engines as well, so yeah, they weren't very economical as a family car compared to other cars about, and they just didn't make it. I mean, it's like the Triumph 1300 that we've acquired now. It's 1967. Throughout the 70s and 80s, the Triumphs 1300s were everywhere. There's hardly any left now. That's why I wanted to get one in the collection.
Froggy went wondering, my dad had the Scimitar, random bits kept falling off it while driving, ha 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 ha. Remember one of the rear wheels overtaking the car, and also the steering wheel coming off while going down a hill. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that would be scary, wouldn't it?
That's like you with that trailer. Oh. Steve, remember when we were based at Chinny Manor and we had a Clubman estate, mini Clubman estate that Chloe had sold, was selling, and we needed somewhere to store it, and Ian said we could store it there in the factory, so we did.
Right, The factory was about 3 miles from our house. We got to go down the hill out of the estate we was living on at the time, along a very long road called Whitworth Road, and then turn into a road that sort of leads down to an industrial estate. So it's quite a straightforward journey. Now, a friend of ours had acquired a tow vehicle and he only had a set amount of time. I'd been waiting for a friend to give me back the, what do we have, the
towing bar.
Towing.
Was it the towing bar or was it the dolly?
I think we had the dolly at the time. So we had the towing dolly. So we was doing it in a rush. So I wheeled this Clubman estate off of the driveway, leant down, done all the dolly up and so on. And I said to my mate, who he wanted to drive a bit quicker than me, I said, if you stop at the bottom of the estate, I'll hop out and just walk around it, make sure that the dolly's, now it's moved about a bit, just do the straps back up on the dolly, make sure it's all nice and tight. Which he did. He pulled up in the bus stop at the bottom of the estate. I hopped out, extra click on the dolly, all good. I thought, that's fine. We drove the 3 miles to Peggy's Works, spun into the rear car park, and they were sliding the huge shutter door, big shutter door.
It was an old factory, and then
yeah.
we used it as the NHS.
So they slid this big solid door open, and then our friend said, I'm just going to sort of reverse it a little bit and go. And I goes, don't reverse a lot. Can you not spin round? He said, well, and he insisted he wanted to reverse.
Space to spin
well,
round.
I think he could have, but he didn't want to. I said, you can't really reverse with a dolly. They're not designed for it. He goes, well, I'm only backing it to get in there. I said, all right. Anyway, it didn't want to reverse, and we could hear this scraping. So I said to him, I told you can't reverse in a dolly. He goes, no, you can. I goes, it's not right. So I stepped out, looked at the car and thought, this Clubman estate has now only got 3 wheels.
Where did the fourth wheel go?
Where did the 4th wheel go? So we unhitched the car, managed to, by leaning on the other side, wobbly wheel it into the warehouse and got it in the corner and left it. And then we drove back and forth about 5 times to look for that wheel.
They never found it.
We never found it. And to this day, and the ones who are local to Swindon, like Steve and so on, will know, the route that we took up Whitworth Road has turnings, Sunningdale Avenue, Thames. I think that wheel came off, wobbled across the road and went down one of those hills, probably into someone's greenhouse, because by that time it would have picked up a bit of momentum and bounced, and I was really worried that we'd killed somebody.
There was nothing on the news or anything.
We waited weeks.
Yeah,
we
nothing.
checked all the papers, we rated all the Facebook was about early stages of Facebook. To this day, I do not know where that wheel went. A little 10-inch wheel.
Ian Rowe. Growing up in a family of 9, mum, dad and 7 children, transport was a Bedford dormer belly.
Dormobile.
He's put dormer belly. With bench.
Dormer belly.
With bench seats and no seat belts. Sharp bends were fun, sliding about in the back.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I like that with gas actually, with our Moggy Minor, because there's no seat belts in the front or back.
Oh, it'd be the same as sitting in the back of a Land Rover. You know, the
Yeah,
Land
yeah.
Rover, the seats are up against the window pane rather than sitting going forward. They have bench seats to sit sideways, and I'm sure that one probably would have had sideways seats, wouldn't it? So yeah. Wow, what a big family, what a fantastic memory. You can have a Pooh Man card.
Oh, you're going to get a bonus one,
Get
Ian.
a bonus Pooh Man card. Let me take the white one out. It's 2 white ones.
You really
3
should have
white
gone
ones.
through those before.
Well, we only just opened it. There's loads of a whole stack of white ones there. Your card. 429. Roll again. That's your extra bonus Pooh Man card. Roll again. Any questions?
No questions yet. Come on, people. We want questions.
Any questions? Let us know. So, I'll give you another memory. I don't know the year. Peggy might know the year when I tell a story. It was an absolutely scorcher of a summer. Real hot summer. I've been to work. and I'm in this Cortina again before we got rid of it. And when I first bought this Cortina, it would do a rattle, like a metallic flutter noise. Could never find it. I jacked it up several times. A friend of mine had jacked it up several times.
About 2002, 2003.
I would say around 2002, something like that. We checked the wheels, we've done the steering. Everything on that car was absolutely spot on. But sometimes, really flipping irritating this noise was. Anyway, this particular hottest day was the hottest day that year. I had all 4 windows down on the Cortina. I spun into our estate, pulled up, whacked it into reverse and reversed into our allocated parking bay. And I heard a piece of plastic go clunk. And I'm like, bits don't fall off Cortinas today. So I looked down and there was a VHS cassette tape on the floor. Now I hadn't run it over, it fell from the Cortina. Now what we established later on was that this noise had been, the VHS tape had been hidden above the fuel tank, and it had been rattling around ever since I'd owned the car until this particular heat day. I don't know why the heat affected it, but it fell out. Really intrigued as to why we had a VHS tape hidden in the car.
Yeah.
We took it indoors and we put it in the VHS recorder. What was on it?
Yeah, there was 2 people, male and female. It was their own personal rude video. It was kind of.
It was hardcore blue, and all we did was fast forward it to like see if there was anything else on the tape, and it wasn't. It was them over a long duration.
Yeah.
And the guy was bloody ugly.
So was the lady.
But we don't know who they were.
No.
We don't know who they were. So
Right.
anyway, just to finish off, we had a friend called Alan at the time. We won't name him, Alan. And we let him have the tape. Who we got?
Right, so for Cheerful Travels. Hello, Cheerful Travels. I get a dedicated Pooh Man card.
You get anyone on tonight gets a dedicated Pooh Man card.
Come on, because I've got some questions now.
You got Sheila Squitmore. Sheila Squitmore.
Down, dog.
Come on, Jack, down.
Down.
Down. Go
Come on,
see
Jack.
David. Down. So you got Sheila Squitmore.
So, we do have Froggy went to wandering, said, I used to love sitting in the boot of...
Oh, like the Montego did a 7-seater and you sat facing out through the tailgate. And the Volvos did that as well.
So Cheerful Travels, hi all, they said, how old is Jack and where did you get him from? Wow, that's a story in itself.
Okay, we're letting you start with the show then. Come on, up. Turn round. Turn round. Sit. Right, look at the camera.
No, not me. Mum Scott. You my knucklehead.
We're talking about you. Go on, speak.
So Jack is now 6 years old. We've had him for 5 years, and we got him because a friend of ours knew the person who was at the time trying to rehome Jack, and she was a 90-year-old lady, so she couldn't take him for walks, and she wanted someone to take him and obviously look after him.
You're so funny on camera.
So our friend posted photos of him, and me and Chloe both emailed or messaged our friend from Facebook and said we'd like to have a look at him if possible. Hadn't even spoken to each other.
We didn't have a dog. We didn't plan on having a dog.
But we both fell in love with him on his photo, and we were told we were the 3rd family in line. So what our friend did, because he owns a farm, is he asked the lady if her grandson can take Jack to their land, and asked the 3 families to also go to the land. So it was neutral ground. We were the only family that turned up, and I was handed his lead and was told I could take him for a W around the fields. which I did. And when I was out of view from them, I got him to sit and I checked him all over, and he was a very happy dog.
Very scatty dog.
Very scatty, but yeah, he was happy for me to be stroking him and checking him all over. When I came back round from where they couldn't see me, the two guys had jumped in their truck and drove off. And my friend just couldn't believe it, because we was only there to have a look at him, and then the lady could decide from the feedback which family he could go to. So she didn't know what was going to happen.
So yeah, we had to.
So our friend gave us some dog food, and we went to Pets at Home, and we've not looked back really. We've had him since, and
we were
at the time we were in a house, so we didn't know how he was going to take to van life. So we had a little caravan at the time, so we went into a caravan. And he was so well behaved in the caravan. Then we got Faith and our previous van, and we went in her a few times, stayed in her for a few nights, longer and longer each time, no problem. And in fact, he is so much, as you can see, more chilled dog since living in a van.
He was scatty in the house, absolutely scatty. He was almost unbearable in the house, but in the van he was very good.
So hopefully that answers your question,
You've
Cheerful
done your
Travels.
stardom now. Do you want to come and have a biscuit?
The Three Musketeers. Do you prefer sweet or savoury foods? I prefer savoury. Kev loves sweets. It really depends on my mood. I get craving for salty foods, so savoury.
I like creamy food.
And then every now and then I get a craving for sweet food, so I might go for a stage where I think all women go for a stage at least once a month where they just want chocolate. So I do go through that, but I think mainly for savoury, to be fair. Cheese, instead of sausage rolls, you get the cheese and onion filled ones. And Jack, go away.
Sit down, boy. Sit.
And
sit down.
also,
sit.
You need to get another card ready.
Okay.
And also, I quite like the Greg's veggie, so all the vegan sausage rolls. They're quite nice. But I'm more savoury, I would say.
I love creamy stuff.
Froggy went to wondering, someone stashed their home movie above the fuel tank.
It did.
Yes,
literally. There was hours and hours and hours of it. The whole tape was full up.
Card.
I'm going to shuffle them.
Jack!
Let me pick those cards up and you can sit there. You can tell this is live. The dog is sitting on the cards. I will quickly go through the cards again in a minute, just so you guys can see what you had.
Stop it.
So for those who just joined us.
Hello, Matthew.
So for those.
We're both doing fine. Pooh Man card. So you're going to get a Pooh Man card.
So the Pooh Man cards are from the comedian Marek Larwood.
Hey.
Wow, you are. If we were playing the game, you'd be a winner.
Oh, same as Froggy.
You got the Pooh Man card. So you play this game till you get the Pooh Man card. But we've already had one Pooh Man card, so that was dedicated to Froggy, wasn't it? So we have to have another card. So you're a winner. But you get allocated to you Stinky Peters. Yeah, they're very good. So I quickly read Stinky Peters.
Ow.
Sorry. You've had 2 of the Pooh Man cards. Dave Plops. Poosicle.
Oh, no. Froggy was the shitting dog card.
Squat the dog.
That's the one.
That's yours then.
Can't remember what it was called.
Basil Browner.
Who was the... Oh, was it...
Philippa Plushington. Bernie Botham or Bottom. The one I didn't get to begin with.
Stop it.
Urina Niles.
No.
Urinals.
No. That's naughty. You leave.
Roll again. Just a couple more. Power Flush. No. That's David's one.
No. No.
Bert Ox Buttocks. Jack behave. Last
Sit
three.
down.
Last three. Smell the freshness. I love this one. Pudini
That's Steve.
and Sheila Squitmore. Well done, guys. You got a really good selection. Like I say, we'll allocate more if there's a few left. If anyone else comes in. So yeah, what else we got?
We're having a moment. One more. Oh, we've got Simon saying, "Happy days for Rovers passing MOTs."
Well done, mate. Well done. It's always a good time. I was a bit worried when we took our 214 in. That was October, wasn't it? Pretty sure it was October because I had to do the welding on it before I took it in. It's always a good. I don't really want to take the Moggy Minor anywhere and just leave it if we go for a certain word I can't say at the moment, because I'm worried it won't be there when we get back. But the good old Rover is it's modern enough to
Stop licking my
use and park up.
Stop it.
So we've done the two Cortina stories.
Right. We have a question. Any plans for any strolls soon? Yes.
We were meant to be going today.
But decided to have a duvet day and watch 2 films.
And it would have been a good video because it would have been called the Styles Walk. Yeah, I can't say that word.
Do you want to
can
go out?
I? Oh, no, your turn.
Go on then. Let's go out. Let's go.
Short interval.
Go on then. Let's go.
So yeah, today would have been called the Styles Walk. Because we can only do our local area at the moment, which is tricky. And what do you deem as your local area? It's a bit of a grey area. It's a bit of a grey area. You know what I mean? I don't know how far you can go. So, yeah, it really needs to be kind of. I assume local area means you're sticking within your council area because they're doing everything by council. So I assume they mean the council area. So the walk we're going to do today was on the very, very edge of our one. Would have took us slightly out, but yeah, we were going to do the Styles Walk. I don't know if you'd see it.
So that's what we're going to do.
So it's basically Malden Hill, which is a nature reserve near us, and would have took us over to Purton and then back. Yeah, but we didn't go.
No, we decided to stay in bed and watch films
We
instead.
watched 2 films.
Had
So yeah,
a duvet day.
would you like thumbs up? Give us a thumbs up. We've got 5 thumbs up at the moment. Give us a thumbs up if you want to hear another car related story. Peggy says no.
I've heard them all before.
Of course you were there. Or have you got any other questions? What's your plans? Tell us your plans. Anything.
I plan in July.
Well, Peggy's got a July announcement. Well, there is a thumb up. It did go up.
My plan for July is I am going to be walking the Southwest Coast to Coast walk, which is from Minehead all the way to Dawlish, so over 2 days.
I think she's mad.
All our Just Giving pages, links, so they'll start being put in down below. More practice walks
And I have really nagged her.
And tomorrow I am sitting down and I am going to put together my walks from the canal when I did the Canon EOS.
Yeah, some of you may know, some won't know, but Peggy
So they will be coming out over the next few weeks.
You walked the almost 100 miles.
97 miles.
Yeah, of the whole Kennet and Avon Canal on her feet,
Not
on a boat.
I walked it. I walked the towpath.
Over 7 days, and she was tired. You know, it was a big feat.
Put it this way, I couldn't sleep at the end. The last day, when we finished in Bristol, Chloe actually surprised me with a hotel stay. Thank you, David, for having Jack. And yeah, I couldn't sleep. You know when the adrenaline finally goes through you, and yeah, I just led there wide awake as did I really just complete that?
So Peggy's gonna...
And even now, I still did I do that? I know I done it. Just doesn't feel like you've done it.
So Peggy's going to divide that into three videos. Obviously, she took a lot of photos of it on there because she was trying to keep her battery alive, so that if she needed an emergency. So it's more video,
more photos,
more photo than video.
And so it was easier.
It'll be a Desmond Donders style put together.
David says, "Whoop whoop! Can't wait to see the footage of your amazing walk."
Yeah,
whoop, whoop.
yeah.
And Froggy
me.
says,
I'm looking forward to it too.
Do you know, Froggy? This is what we want to do. We actually want to do this in our Rover or maybe even the Moggy.
What's that?
When we're allowed, I'm heading straight up to the west coast part of the NC 500 for a month. Hell, I might not even come back for several months.
Yeah, when we're allowed, yeah.
Yeah, we'd like to do that.
I was going to do it in the diesel Metro, but it got to a stage where it needed so much bodywork, and I just thought if I'm going to restore a diesel Metro, I might as well restore something like an MG midget. That's why we got the midget. So that we bought the Rover primarily to start planning our great invasion of the northern counties.
Yep. And Stephen says, yes, 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 more car stories, please.
Okay, well, we did get an extra 3 thumbs up, so I'm just trying to think of some. We've had...
How about you following the car coming back from the Isle of Wight?
Between us...
Before you carry on, Froggy says that would be amazing doing all those coastal roads in Scotland in the Moggy. We actually know someone who's done that in their Moggy. They did it for charity last year. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Or was it the year before?
No,
it might have been the year before.
2019.
Yes, 2019. And
feels like last year.
they did it for cystic fibrosis for a hospital where unfortunately their daughter had passed away, but she was being treated with the certain hospital, and yeah, they completed it in the Moggy Minor. It was amazing because they took us along with them.
But their Moggy Minor is heavily modified, so it was able to do it.
But the good thing is, but the good thing is with their Moggy Minor is all the modifications they've done. They've now actually told us what we could do to make our Moggy Minor probably safer for the roads today, because it was things like brake upgrades, things like that you don't really on old cars. You just like to keep in standard, but I think there's some of the upgrades
we did his
oil
filter upgrade.
Yeah, he told us about an oil filter upgrade, which we did.
Anyway, Steve Thomas wants.
So Steve wants. Yes, we'll tell you about this.
Right, so I'll just go back to a minute. There was a Facebook post about 2 years ago, and
V8 and stuff.
not putting a V8 in it. And this Facebook post said, "Do you remember your cars?" And loads of people put, "Yeah, I've had 3 cars and this was the 3, and I've had 5 cars, this was it," and so on. And I was like, I've had at the time about 1,200 cars.
We actually sat down and tried to count them all.
We tried to write down. It was easier to write down what I hadn't had than what we have had, because we've had good memories in all the cars. So what was the one you... Oh, so one of the ones that Peggy suggested, I went and purchased...
A yellow.
A Mark II Volkswagen Golf.
Bright yellow.
Bright yellow. I mean like neon yellow.
Neon
yellow. It was in your face. And we had our friends Colin and that with us, and they wanted a day trip.
So we decided to go for the Isle of Wight.
Isle of Wight on a day trip. Stupid. Bloody stupid.
Hey,
our distance.
We used to just go over to the bridge, Severn Bridge, just to the Monmouthshire service station, because they used to have a Wendy's there. It was the only place near us that used to have a Wendy's.
There's only an hour and a quarter up the road.
Exactly.
Whereas the Isle of Wight, it's 2 hours.
Okay.
It's 2 hours to get down the coast. This car's lowered to the ground. You can't put your blimmin' fingers between the chassis of the car and the tarmac. We get all the way down to the Isle of Wight. We've paid for our tickets. We've all chipped in. We paid for tickets. We go to get on the ferry. I can go... Well, the crewman cards are going to come in handy now. I can get onto the ferry, but I couldn't get over onto the ferry. I was grinding out. So all of the ferrymen, is that what you call them? The workers had to come over and line up. We all had to get a lump and onto the ferry itself. Extremely embarrassing. So we does that.
There and back.
There and back. They bumped us on and off. Coming back, we'd stayed over in the Isle of Wight a bit too long. We get to Southampton, and bear in mind, I'd only bought this car about 2 days before. I'd been bombing around in it, and I thought it goes pretty well, so that's why I decided we were going to take it to the Isle of Wight. On the way back, we start getting nearer, we come back, we're nearer Salisbury, and it's getting bloody dark. I flicks the lights on. I've got dash lights. That's all I've got. I've got dash lights. I haven't got any lights on the car. So Colin was like, you can't drive in the dark. I said, I know that. I know. We're over an hour and a half away and it's getting bloody dark now. So we goes into the petrol station, and as you do, we buy a whole pack of fuses and bits and bobs. Colin gets his torch out. We're in the glove box. We're popping all the fuses out, changing all the fuses for new ones and so on. Side lights. That's all we get, side lights. Which, as you know, on that sort of era of car, ain't going to light the road up. So what I decided to do was, we've got to get home. I will follow the next car that comes along.
Listen to the words carefully. Follow.
I pulls out of the garage and I gets behind this Mondeo. Now the road from Salisbury to Marlborough is pretty long. It's
and
dark, very dark, and very.
No, you can carry on.
I'm trying to do it as safe as possible, leaving enough gap that I can see him. But I notice that we're starting to go faster and faster and faster. Now it only comes to us later on that obviously he saw a souped up Volkswagen Golf in his mirrors with only the side lights on, completely lowered, all souped up. He thinks we're prattling around. So he starts to get his foot down to get away from us. Well, we've got to put a foot down to keep up with him, because if I can't follow his tail lights, we can't see where we're going. Anyway, we gets to a large roundabout, and I'm following him round this roundabout, and then I follow him again around this roundabout, and then I follow him again around this.
Going.
Oh, sorry about that. We follow him again around this roundabout. 3 times I followed him around this roundabout, and then he eventually carried on the journey that we were doing. And Colin nudged me and he went, I know it's dark, but we just went round that roundabout 3 times. Obviously he was trying to shake us off his tail, wasn't he? We just followed him. So I don't need to be a fly on the wall to know what that guy in the Mondeo was probably saying about us. But if you were the driver of the Mondeo, we highly apologise, because we were just trying to get home with no lights. Oh dear.
So yeah, sorry, our signal keeps going. We are literally right next to the mast, which is annoying.
The mast is 100 yards over that way.
But they are currently doing upgrades in this area. So, yeah.
Thanks, days gone by. I'll give you an extra poo card. Hang on.
Hang on. We've also got, Froggy says, Wendy's Burger, place like in America. Yeah, as in America. Yeah, Wendy's. They had the big burgers. And days gone by, Wendy's, yummy.
Wendy's were good.
They were, and their burgers were the size and looked like their photos, unlike Mackie D's.
It's in the days when...
Will you leave me alone?
He's licking baby. It's in the days when you had to pay to get across the bridge, but we'd all put the fuel in the car, we'd all chip in and we'd go across the bridge, and that's all we went there for, is the Wendy's, because we didn't have anything like it this side. So your extra card,
Wendy's burgers.
your extra card is the Pooper Man. I'm just going to take a... I keep saying that. Sorry about it cutting out.
They're not going to be here though, are they? They're like London and Manchester. So it's just going to be the big places where they're going to be, where they think they can get the money. Because the only reason why they left in the first place is because they reckon they weren't making enough money.
Even though we did go across the bridge to support them.
Yes, that's why I loved Wendy's when I was living in the US.
The
Popper
dog
burgers.
wants your mate.
No,
he doesn't tonight.
Not today.
Not tonight, he doesn't.
He wants me tonight.
He's out of favour tonight.
Leave.
Oh dear.
Leave.
Oh, here's a good card. Bonus card for the 51st minute. We're open. We said we're gonna do an hour, but there's so many of you here. We're so lovely to have your. We're so privileged to have you all here. Company. We're doing an hour and a half. Okay. So you got us for another 38 minutes or so.
36. Damn shame I'd have Wendy's over Mackey's and Burger King any day.
So your bonus card for tonight is.
Is that for Froggy?
Lionel Longlog. Lionel Longlog.
I think that's what Jack wants to do.
He wants a long log. Oh God, what other vehicles do we have that's got a funny story? So, when I first passed my test, I had my first legal car when I passed my test. So I had cars before that. I had a Mark, is it a Mark? Must be a Mark 5. Yeah, Mark 5 Ford Escort. You know, just the last of the square shape.
D94SNK.
It was a D-Reg, 87 it was.
Yeah, I remember the reg.
Was it D94SNK? Well done you.
That sunk, that's how I remember it.
That sunk. And we had it for quite a while.
Yeah, we actually drove to Great Yarmouth in it.
Went to Great Yarmouth.
With a very young Connor.
Went to Great Yarmouth in it, yeah. So it was a bloody good car. I know they're going for crazy money now. It wouldn't have made it to this time.
Should I see if it... I don't think it's on the road. Didn't we scrap it?
It got scrapped in the end, yeah. Yeah, D95SNK.
94.
And
good old Ford.
Yeah, it had a 1.4 in it. It was because the 1.3 was a slightly different shape.
I mean it.
And it was the model up from that. Lovely car. Really enjoyed driving that car. Anyway, I did enjoy driving it till it started getting faulty, didn't it?
Yeah.
So our two friends at the time, Colin and Gareth, hadn't passed their test. Sorry, it's cutting out again. I can't do nothing about that. So
stop licking.
So what this car did is it would just cut out, and when it cuts out, every piece of electric was dead. I learned later on, knowing cars now, that it's the coil, but the coil earthed it. But at the time we didn't know, so you could drive it for days, no problem. It had been driving for days, no problem. We all hopped in it and we went down to the Great Western Way. We were going to do the drive-through at McDonald's. It was a new thing back then, wasn't it?
Yep.
And we drives in.
Wait. Okay.
We drives in. The tannoy thing's here. Hello. Can we have 4 milkshakes, 4 burgers and so on? No worries. Drive to the next window.
Bonk.
Dead. Dead. Colin and Gareth jump out and they push us to the paying window, which is alright. I pays. They go to the next window. Colin and Gareth push us to the next window, but the problem with that then is as we pass the paying window, they've seen the two lads pushing the car. So they've obviously gone and told the boss. And the boss came to the window and he said, I'm not serving you because you're prattling about. And I said, we're not prattling about. The car's just died. We placed our order. The car's just died. He wouldn't have it. You guys are prattling about. I've seen young kids in cars before. You're prattling about. I said, look, mate, I'm really sorry. I'm not prattling about. Look, there's no ignition. There's no ignition. He goes, don't believe you. I said, well, you've got to service our food. We've paid for it. He said, right, I'll give you your food and back off, basically. So he gave us the food, but the car still wouldn't start. So they pushed us over to the car park and they very, very reluctantly gave us our food. And we chilled out there for about half hour, 45 minutes, didn't we? And we ate all our food. When we finished eating, the car fired first time. Off we went.
Froggy says, oh my god, Reading is set to be the home of the firm's first branch 20 years after it closed its UK outlets. Wendy said it was planning to enter the UK market with restaurants in early 2021.
I wish it would stop cutting out. Reading, some places in Reading are awful to get to in the car. I'm not a big fan of Reading, but I am a fan of Wendy's. So we'll look
Hopefully it's by IKEA.
Yeah, we'll have a look. Well, it could be. Yeah, IKEA in Reading's pretty good. It's on the
Days
motorway.
gone by. Wendy's in Reading, not far from me. Whoop whoop. I can see a meet-up coming up at Wendy's. Leave me alone.
Extra bonus card for you.
Small van life gathering at Wendy's. Yes.
Got to get Faith working again. She keeps revving up.
Stop licking me.
I need to pee. You see that right? I need to pee. I need to pee.
Jack, thank you.
Behave, you. Behave. Oh, do you know, the other day I was chatting to a work colleague and we had
I'm totally up for that.
we had loads of car memories and we were chatting about ours and we were chatting about them and it was sparking so many memories in my mind. And I was telling them they were laughing and do you know, tonight I can't think of any now. So there's something else up.
Definitely, looks like when lockdown's done, van life meet up at Wendy's.
Yeah, Faith's got an MOT. She just saw and declared it, man, because
We haven't not used.
We MOT'd her in July, just before your walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally just before Peggy's
stroll.
Yeah,
along
so
the canal.
he knows that word.
Will you
so yeah, it was just before. So we got MOT on Faith till July. At the moment, she's filling it with water. The roof's leaking.
Lay down.
Bad.
Stop licking.
I've got saucepans.
I am not a licking pot.
I've got saucepans all over the place in that damn van at the moment.
Licking.
I'm going to try and use. I've got several photos of the stuff that we need to get. It's like a very thick bitumen paint, and they swear by it. They reckon it stops all leaks. They can use it on flat roofs and all sorts. So when it finally has a spell where it's going to stop raining, go over there a minute.
Go see David.
Go over there a minute. Go see David.
Go see David.
You always want to be with David. Couldn't stop leaving him alone on the last show. That's it. Good boy. Yeah, so we're going to get this bitumen paint and get up there and give that a go and try and stop Faith from leaking. The other thing she's doing is she's a basic transit. She's the... It's cutting out again. But the one thing it's doing is it keeps revving up. It's like the... do they call it a regulator? The bit that keeps it ticking over. When it gets warm, it's just really revving up.
Lay down.
So I need someone who knows transits. I got a friend who works for the AA. But obviously we're locked down. They're in Gloucester and that, so I can't pick their brains at the moment. So yeah, bloody lockdown. Let's hope it finishes soon. But I have heard this week quite a few people say that they've had their vaccine.
No.
I mean, your gran had it.
My gran had it before Christmas.
My nan had it this week.
Did she?
Yeah. My nan had the vaccine this week. How many
which
people?
Which one they've had? The Pfizer one or
everyone's
Oxford?
had the Pfizer one.
So where's the Oxford one?
Everyone I've seen on Facebook or in real life who's had this vaccine, I've only ever seen the Pfizer one given.
I am still here, people.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, what about you guys? Have anyone you know had that yet? And have they had anything other than the Pfizer one? I don't know. It's tricky, isn't it?
Stop licking!
Anything else you'd like to know? It's your live.
Yeah, ask us questions, people.
It's your live. So we were going to do an hour. It's really wonderful how many of you have joined us tonight. Thank you ever so much. We'll do a little bit longer. If it stays a little bit quiet, we'll do another 15 minutes. If you've got a lot of questions, we'll do half hour. But we'll stay a little bit longer than the hour. Well done, guys. And I'll give you an extra Brucey bonus.
Pooey bonus.
That's the co-op. This is a blank one again. The kids get a lot of blank ones to draw on. Right, your Brucey bonus floater. So these are, if you just joined us, these are Pooh Man cards from the comedian Marek Larwood.
What's been your most favourite car and why?
Oh, tough question. Because I've had more than 1200 now. It was 1200 when we did the survey.
Mine would have to be, my favourite car so far would have to have been Eddie, our original Mini that we got. I passed my test when we had Eddie, and he had jag leather seats in the front. They were put on the mini subframes so they could fit in the front. You
didn't have room for the handbrake, but they fitted in. They were flush together in this Mini. We're talking the classic Mini. Just drop some of the cards.
Yeah.
They were the classic Mini. It was a K-Reg 92. It was one of the last of the...
K505 SDF.
We are on a search for that car.
To try and find him, because he's still out there somewhere.
We owned him 9 years.
Yeah. The day after we got him, we actually drove to the NEC and watched the Formula 1 Awards.
We bought it in 2002 and we had it for 9 years. And we bought it with 32,000 miles on the clock.
He's been to France, Belgium.
He drove all around the country.
Yeah,
we put a tow bar on him.
International mini meets.
We towed up to the international mini meet up in Norwich.
We actually used him to tow a folding
We used him all 9 years to do the Riviera run, which was from Reading to Cornwall.
To Cornwall, down to Newquay.
Newquay at the time, with the mini Riviera run. I know there's a VW one, but we did the mini one. We did it 13 years on the trot.
Yeah, 13 years on the trot.
That was good times. So yeah, we are on the search for that car. If we ever come across that car again, we'll buy it back.
Yeah,
but
we do like him.
Situation came about.
He was a standard 998 engine. He had a stage 1 kit. He went like the rocket, really.
Just look at your dog tonight. He's there. There he is.
Warning.
Oh, right.
So yeah.
So Peggy's favourite one is Mini Eddie then.
Is Eddie. And in fact, Steve remembered. Do you remember Sylvia from work? She had a sports car. Well,
Sylvia to me is a Nissan.
We worked at Savanac at the time, and she just left. She was literally in front of me all the way. And when we hit the A419, she put her foot down. And yeah, my Mini stuck behind her, so she wasn't very happy because he had the oomph. You just put your foot down, and he had it there. He was ready to. He was a racing car, so he could get you out of a. When he did break down, he still got you home. Obviously in a limp mode, but he would get you home. So you'd cease to see him all around like at the Eddie Stobart lorries.
Yeah, he kept going like an Eddie Stobart lorry. Yeah, we've had some bloody good.
Licking.
We've had some bloody good classic cars.
Leave me alone.
The dog wants Peggy tonight. Just licking. You got a licking phobia tonight, ain't you? I know. You can claw me all you want. I know. I'm here. Silly sausage.
Knucklehead.
Right, so that's a tricky one.
Here's your knucklehead, buddy. There you go.
If I was to go back and speak to myself in the past, yeah? If I was to go back in the past and speak to myself and say, Chloe, just
what the fuck are you doing?
Get a barn and put these vehicles away. Don't sell them. Peggy had a beautiful, and I mean it was a beautiful, gloss white with all black trim. She had a 318.
Oh, my BMW.
Yeah, what was it? What was the
It was a Tourer.
initials? It was a Tourer, but I can't. Was it an SI? She had a 318.
It was an automatic.
Automatic BMW.
It still had the original parcel netting that you could pull up, as well as the original parcel shelf. It was actually, again, it was on like on a blind, and it just pulled out. It was huge. It was lovely.
It was the late 80s one, so it's smaller to us now. It's an F-Reg. It was smaller to us now compared to the big cars. But what a beautiful car.
Registration wasn't it some FTLR? I can't remember what the numbers were, because it was, you could either call him Fortune Teller or Freddie, because I called him Freddie.
Registration plates always add to the names, don't they? But what a beautiful car.
He was lovely, and he was so nice to drive. To say yes, he was an auto.
Situation again. I mean, that really did drink like a fish. But you had other cars at the time, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So I sold him, and the guy who bought him was over the moon because he was after an automatic towing vehicle, which he had a tow bar.
He wanted a semi-classic car that he could use for his work.
Because he dealt in classic cars,
and I've typed that reg in several times now, and it's never been back on the road.
No.
So I reckon it went with the scrappage scheme, which is an absolute. Sorry if you're back. If you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, I'll put a couple of pictures on of the cars that we wish we'd kept.
Do you remember I used to have the Vitara?
Peggy had several Vitaras. You had a short one and a long wheelbase.
Yeah, I had a short wheelbase and a long wheelbase.
So I had several Vitaras. White one and a red one you had, didn't you?
Yeah, red one was the short wheelbase and the white one was the long wheelbase.
And the Suzuki Vitara, that is.
And the long wheelbase we sold to a guy because it needed a lot of work for the MOT. And I literally drove it to the day that the MOT ran out. In fact, the police stopped me the day the MOT was running out. And at the time, there was no times on them like there are now. So I could drive him until midnight. And they actually stopped us, and I gave him all my details. And they went, oh, where are you going? I goes, home, because this car runs out of MOT today. It's the last day, so it's just going to be parked up. And he goes, no worries, enjoy your fish and chips, because he could smell the fish and chips we had in the car. And that was it. It got parked up, and then we sold it to a couple of guys who actually, because it was such a story. It was such a good engine. They wanted the engine, and because they were going to go. They do green laning. So,
right. Yeah. Another one.
What's that?
Which is this? I had this,
and I just look at them.
I had this car when Peggy was working for the NHS.
I did work for the NHS for 11 years.
I had a beautiful, beautiful 5 Series. Well, it was classed as a 3 Series on the book, on the logbook.
Oh, it was a 325, but it was actually a 525.
Yeah, I had a 325i BMW, but
black.
It was on a 5 Series chassis. It was the bigger one.
It was black, and my mum called him Servius.
Peggy's mum called him Servius. Everything on it was black. The lights were
blacked out,
tinted out. It had limo black glass. It really did look like a mafia car. Now there's 2 stories I'm quickly going to tell you about this car.
Does they involve like the crossing over to France?
Yeah. So the first
times I went there.
The first story was every time I drove this car to France, I went to France in it every month. Because it looked like a mafia car.
My knees.
Because it looked like a mafia car, they would pull us over in France at the customs every single bloody time. And they'd try and pull it apart. They'd look through that I'd enter France. They'd turf it through. It pissed me off big time. So this time I was going to France. I asked Peggy's dad to go along.
My mum went as well.
I know, and her mum. So I said, I'll take Peggy's parents with me. And I said to Peggy's dad, I said, look, every time, it's been about 5 times now, they've pulled me over. Let's, for a laugh, because they always ask me if I've got any weapons. So I said, let's go to the pound shop and let's spend about 15 quid on toy guns.
This is true.
So we opened the boot and we laid them all out lovely in the boot. You open the boot and all these weapons were here, but they were little toy plastic ones. We drove through customs, we pulled up. Our hearts started to go by then because I was thinking, well, this is backfiring a little bit, you know, I'm a bit nervous now, pranking them, you know. They're not people to be pranked with, but it was a good idea when we were in the pound shop.
Stop licking.
So we had a boot full of guns.
Plastic guns.
We drove through into the customs. And we're driving through, and bear in mind 5 times I've been pulled over. The guy just nodded at me and went, they never bloody looked, did they? Had all these guns in the boot, they never blimmin' looked.
What about the second one, about my mum?
And one time your mum was in the back. And one time when we did get pulled over, and they said open the windows and that, and the back window went down, and you could do your mum's impression.
I wasn't there.
Her mum looked out the back window.
Don't keep looking at me.
What was it?
She puts on the voice.
Don't keep looking at me.
Yeah, she did that voice in the back. So as the window went down, because bear in mind it's limo tint, and she just looks and
Don't keep looking at me.
the guy just looked at her and went, right. Oh,
Froggy
dear.
says 535540 E39 was my favourite everyday driving car. Regret getting rid of my last one.
I will put a picture of it on our Instagram in the next couple of days or so, maybe tomorrow, something like that. Over the next couple of days.
A licking salt.
The dog is going mad for Peggy now.
You'll be getting down and out in a minute.
Down and out, eh? And the other story about that Servius, the BMW, it had a wonderful key fob. Now this car was completely keyless. I don't know who did it. I don't know who paid for it. So they must have cost them a lot of money. It had about 9 buttons on this key fob.
Let's go.
Hang on.
Let's go. Let's go.
Had about 9 buttons on this key fob, and you had to do a sequence of buttons to do different things on the car, didn't you? Because you had to learn them as well.
Yeah, you could start the engine.
Now that's what I was going to get at. Now, just jumping back a little bit, when we lived in a house, I always liked looking out the landing window.
So this was our previous house, the one we've left.
So Peggy would tell me off. Stop looking at a landing. I couldn't look out a landing window in our old house, but the house previous to that. Stop looking at a landing window. Well, we lived on a steep hill.
So the landing window was literally.
The landing window was on the side, looking out on this steep hill, and people used to go down the hill to go to the shop. Now we had a long driveway with all the minis on it. We had loads of minis at the time, and I had a Daimler Sovereign as well. And Daimler used to sit on the drive, and I had this black BMW Mini. Black BMW
525, 325, whatever.
With a sequence of buttons. Now I was reading through the book on it one day, and I said to Peggy, I can't bloody believe it. There's a sequence of buttons that if you're not in the car, you can start the car from somewhere else. I thought, they've got to try this. So I pressed the sequence of buttons, and it did. The car starts up, flashes his indicators, and waits for you, just like Kit. I couldn't believe it.
But it wouldn't drive off. So somebody
you couldn't
got
drive
in it,
off. There was a secret button.
You had to have a button on the keys fob for you to go.
So what I did was, bit naughty, I know, but as people would come down the hill, staggering down the hill to come to the shops, I would set the timer, I'd press a sequence of buttons, and as they got near the car, it would start up, flash his lights, but there was no one in it.
She used to do that quite regularly.
It would make them jump so much, and sometimes
And
they
all
go
I
up to
could
the
hear
bonnet.
is someone laughing from the window.
It was really good if you ever had someone try and fiddle with it, because you'd see them and you just go out the window. Tick, 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 tick.
Didn't most Daimlers spend their lives on the drive broken down? No.
To be fair,
That one was on the drive because...
that was a D-Reg, 1986. And I used to work in a place called Great Bedwin at the time in the afternoons. And I used to drive from Swindon to Great Bedwin in the Daimler. And because it was a long straight run, it did quite well on fuel. And my boss used to get teeved off about it, because he'd turn up in I think he had an Astra at the time. And he'd turn up and he'd go, I just can't believe that, you know, you're working for me. You keep driving here in a Daimler. But I did say to him, it's just an old car, isn't it? But it's comfy. But when I was working for a warehouse company as a manager, I got a company car and a company vehicles. I never ever got to use this Daimler. So I sold it to one of the employees, and he did have it for about 3 years, didn't he? Mark had it. Yeah. He had it for about 3 years. He did a lot of mileage in it.
He loved
but then
it.
Eventually the gearbox gave up, and rather than fixing it, he scrapped it. But yeah, it was a bloody good card. Well, well done, guys. You've made it to 1:15. So, well, 1 hour 15 is what I mean. So I'm going to give you one final card. Let's find a really good card.
I choose one?
Peggy can choose a card for you. And we'll go to an hour and a half, and that we'll let you we'll let you carry on with your evening. Because the dog's going a bit mad, and he's waiting to go around the park. Peggy's gonna.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, Peggy's
Not
gonna.
you?
No, well, I can go with you for him. Oh, we'll have to do 2 cards then.
There is 2.
Right, here's your 2 cards. Stephen Strainer.
Hashtag.
That's not aimed at you, Stephen.
No,
It's just
not.
a card.
It's just a card.
Stephen Strainer.
Mind you, depends what Julia says.
The diarrhea. Diarrhea.
If you could banish any car... Wait, we've got a question. If you could banish any car into the void for being so utterly terrible, which car would it be? You go.
Oh. For being utterly terrible. For the early Mark 1 Ford Mondeos. Well, most Fords actually, because the Mark 1, they'd have a plume of smoke behind them because all of them blew up. They were good workhorses for a while, but once they got to about 150k, they'd always blow up, and you'd see these Mondeos driving around with plumes of smoke coming out of the back, and they'd die a death. Every Mark 1 Mondeo died a death. You won't find a Mark 1 Mondeo on the road now, and if you do find a Mark 1 Mondeo, it certainly hasn't got its bumpers intact.
Julia calls Stephen the pain in the ass.
There's probably a card for that.
Hang on.
Oh, Peggy's got the remaining cards. Hang on, Julia, we'll give you a card. Hang on.
So let me poo man on there.
We'll give you a very posh card. Tony Trottalot. He's very posh, Tony Trottalot. So yeah, if I could banish,
me? She loves me.
so if I could banish I would banish the Ford Mondeo Mark 1. Because our friend Richard's got the, I don't know how many Marks Mondeo did, but he's got the last Mondeo that came off, and that's a really wonderful piece of kit. That's they fixed everything with that, and the one Steve had at the time, Beach, his Mondeo was pretty good. So the later Mondeo, the last one they did, was very good.
I really don't know. I don't like driving your Suzuki.
Peggy hates my little Suzuki Alto. Now for work, I've got a little tiny Suzuki Alto. I love it because it just goes on fumes. It just drives and drives and drives.
It just feels, you're driving along and it feels like you're just doing that all the time because it's
but you drive rascal vans.
I can drive a rascal van.
Rascal vans are trying not to fall over all the time.
There's nothing wrong with a rascal van. Until you put a bloody steering
Spare wheel
on the front and it's top heavy. It goes on that.
If I going back to an earlier question, I think it was Froggy, might have been Froggy. If I could bring a car back, and it was when it was one of the ones when I first passed my test. I didn't know much about vehicles at that point, but I had one of those rare Citroen Visas. I don't know if any of you watch the Hubnut channel on YouTube. Hubnut's becoming quite famous now. But he recently, I found a video where he visited the electronic column with indicators on the side now. I wish I kept it. You don't find them now. Bloody brilliant cars.
Froggy said 4KA was the one I hated most. Started to rust badly 2 years from new and was terrible to drive.
Yeah.
Chloe hates welding them.
My mum had 2 KAs. She loved it to bits. The first KA had major rust on the outer sills. She came down from living in Manchester at the time and asked me if I could repair it like that day because she needed to get an MOT to drive back up to Manchester. I absolutely bloody hated welding it. But the worst thing is, on the KA, this is the Mark 1 KA, the wiring loom goes through the bloody sill. Come on, Ford. All wiring looms should go above the door through the roof line. Don't put a wiring loom in the sill. I'm going to repair it.
Froggy went on and said, and they eat front springs. And
yeah, and she did actually have that done as well.
Jenny Smith says hi.
Hi, Jenny. You've only got us for about 9 minutes.
She just asked if she missed much.
Yeah.
Jenny, you get a Pooh Man card.
These Pooh Man cards, Jenny, are from the comedian Marek Larwood. And they're really good. And you get Belinda Bumyawn.
And we've also got Gilbert T. Codwacker. It says, just watched your 214 liked video. Thank you. You also get a Pooh. You also get a Pooh Man card.
You get a dedicated Pooh Man card tonight. These are from the comedian Marek Larwood. So you get Jeff Stench.
Jenny's been watching Lupin on Netflix.
I haven't seen that.
No, I haven't seen that.
So a car that would go into room 101. I have to say it, and everyone who knows me says I have to do it. I have to put the Vauxhall Corsa into room 101. I've owned 2 of them.
Yeah.
I've owned 2 of them, only to sell on. And the only reason why I did the last one that I did, which was about 4 years ago, 3 years ago? Yeah, about 4 years ago, is because it had one owner and it was been really looked after, but it needed welding to get on the road. And it just seemed too good a car to scrap.
I have a 1991 Rover 416 Auto GSI.
Very nice, top model.
91.
Yeah.
Nice.
Does that have power steering? Because some of them didn't have the power steering. And we're very lucky our 214 does have power steering.
Fiat.
So, I had a 1.2 Corsa, used to thrash the hell out of it, blew the head gasket eventually, but it took a proper... Well, that's why they buy them, because they rant them. But
Jenny says a Fiat Mia Fiore.
Mia Fiore, yeah.
goes into room 101 for her.
Really? I'm surprised at that. That's not. Oh, okay. I wouldn't put it in room 101, but okay. I'll tell you one car that I really liked. We owned one. It was a very, very good car. I do have some pictures of it, which I'll share to you. I'll put all these pictures in Instagram over. That's what I'll do. The next 7 days, I'll fill Instagram and Facebook with the vehicles that we've had. We had the Mark 1, I call it Frogmella. What was it called? Fiat Multipla. Frogmella, we called it. Froggy, that would suit you. A green Fiat Multipla.
The original.
The original. I've still got the lights.
Yeah. Jenny says she had one of those Fiats and it was a rust bucket.
Yeah, they do rust, yeah.
Gilbert, I would put any SUV in the city in room 101. Yep.
Yeah.
Froggy, Multipla was voted ugliest car, wasn't it?
It was.
But it was practical.
I
love driving ours.
It was so practical. You had so much space. 3 seats in the front, 3 seats in the back. You could take the middle seat out.
You can take the middle seat out.
You could take all the row seats out the back.
Well, no, they didn't just come out.
It was bigger than a van.
They didn't come out. They would actually fold flat.
You could take them right out. They folded flat, or you just flick it up and they came right out. Ooh,
yeah, they were pretty good. So you could use the whole back as a massive van.
It was probably...
I think they'd probably make a little good camper.
I would vote. Yeah, it probably would. A lot of glass. Because that glass roof as well.
Steve says...
I would vote the Multipla as the most practical car I've ever owned.
Stephen says, for me, for room 101, Ford RS Turbo.
Wow. Unless you were holding it back for value.
Froggy says there's a dude on YouTube who modded a Multipla. It actually looked and sounded like a wonderful SUV. And Jenny said her first car was a Hillman Avenger. Great car.
Fair enough. You got a Safira and it's been really good for you. But you'll probably still appreciate the joke. There's a t-shirt that you can buy on eBay that says condoms prevent Safiras. And it makes me chuckle every time. Still makes me chuckle now.
I put up with it every day.
Jack's only barking, don't worry, he's not straight. We're not.
Day's gone by, he's gone ha ha ha.
Condoms prevent Safiras. I just think that's a brilliant t-shirt. Yeah, Jackie boy, he's getting a bit not frisky tonight, is he? He's
just getting annoying.
He's just getting a bit
licking
agitated.
My knees and my legs, and it's not.
Got a licking thing going on tonight. So yeah, you've got 4 minutes left, guys. 4 minutes left. We got one last. How many poo cards we got left? 2,
4.
Alright, so we got every minute we give you the last 4 poo cards as a bonus. So any questions you got left, fire them across now. It's been an absolute pleasure having you all with us this evening. But Jackie's getting a bit agitated, so in 4 minutes we're going to go and we're going to pack up and we're going to go around the park. So for this minute you have... How do we say that?
Susan DePuzin.
Susan DePuzin. There you go. Susan DePuzin.
Go to 10 p.m.
Unfortunately,
oh my God,
no, we can't go to 10 p.m. I'm trying to think of any other. The other story I got, How
long is a piece of string?
I used to spin cars. Is that the saying? I used to buy and sell cars. It was when cars weren't worth a lot of money as well. I used to do a car dealer who'd take all the trade-ins from like the big Vauxhall dealers, and they'd take any car in and they'd literally sell him. As long as he took it that day, they'd sell him the car for £1. So cars were £1. That's real. And he'd have a car, use that one for a couple of weeks and then sell it for me. So I used to sell a lot of cars for a dealer as well, a car dealer that is. Well, anyway, one day they took this car in. It was a Ford Escort, Mark III. And I drove it back. It must have been about 1999. It's when we lived in the flat. And
Connor was a year
I was
old.
spinning around this car for about a week. And he said, could you check it over for me? I've got a buyer. I said, yeah, no worries. So I checked it through, lifted up, checked the spare wheel. Absolutely crammed. All of the spare wheel, the whole compartment was absolutely full up of white powder bags. Absolutely full up. There must have been thousands and thousands of pounds worth of white bags full of powder. And I was like, I am not getting involved in that. Now he didn't know where it come from. So we didn't. So what we done was we got a Stanley knife, we split them all open, and the whole lot went down the drain. Not getting involved with that. Nasty trade. And they actually traded that car into a main dealer like that. So yeah, that was probably the worst find I've ever had in a car. Oh yeah, P-Man car, got it. Penelope Yellow P.
Foggy said, and the rats had an epic party, haha.
Yeah, Penelope Yellow P. Well, they probably did, yeah. Yeah.
In a minute, Jack.
So, yeah, that was that.
Good night to you both. Good show.
Yeah, we're just going to go in a minute or so. We've got 2 cards left, so we'll do one now. Any final questions? What's the worst thing you've ever found in a vehicle you've bought? That's a question to you guys.
Great live, guys. Good night from us.
Donna Pugh. Right.
Last card.
Thank you all, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Last card for tonight. Poohman cards. You can get them from poohman.co.uk. It's Marek Larwood.
He's a comedian. Thank you for tonight live. You need to go to the loo after all this toilet talk when you're on next. And thank you for the live. Been a laugh. Take it easy all.
End of the month. 2 weeks time. Don't know what the date will be.
Are we?
Yeah, 2 weeks time. Put your diary up.
So 30th or 31st?
Either the 30th or the 31st, depending what's happening that week.
So we'll put a notice up so
I've
you'll
got
see
to
it.
try and get the 1300 back because he's, as of tomorrow, he would have finished it. But I'll tell you all about that another time. Oh, a dead mouse. Oh, yeah. Well, mice do tend to go in vehicles that have been sat for a little while. Mice can do a lot of damage to a vehicle as well, especially interiors. I've bought a lot of cars that have had mouse damage interiors or nest under bonnets and stuff like that. Happens when cars get parked up. Yeah. But yeah, thank you ever so much, guys. It's been an absolute utter pleasure. You know where we're going to go now.
To the park.
Yeah.
So the dog can go and do the squirty one.
Right. Well, do a shake and
What?
do shuffle them up is
No,
what I
I'm
mean.
trying to find... No, I'm not shuffling up because you've got them all different ways.
You're going to find the squat one, are you?
There it is.
There it is.
So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to take the dog to go and do that.
What's it saying? Squat the dog. That is what he's going to do, and he'll probably do it 2 or 3 times because that's why he's getting restless. That was my card. Well done, Froggy. Squat the dog. That's what we need tonight. That's what we're going to go do now. Poop man, yeah. Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you ever so much, guys. Absolute pleasure. See you again at the end of the month.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Just to let you know, coming up, beginning of the week, me and Peggy did an epic walk. It was knackering.
It was meant to be 5.5 miles and it ended up being 7.5.
Yeah, and it was a bit
Muddy.
I nearly lost my welly. So I took you guys with us. I've just got to finish editing it, put it all together, and that'll be uploaded beginning of the week. So enjoy. All right. See you on the next one.
See you on the next one, guys.
Stay safe.
Stay retro.